Data East had a habit of not clipping the legs off of components, and you can see that the lower leg of a transistor is joined to a resistor pad here. In this case, it made no difference anyway, but I clipped the extra long leg off. iMovie refuses to orient this image like I'd like it, but this 9-pin resistor SIP has 2 of the internal resistors reading the incorrect value. And there are 3 burned 1 kilo ohm resistors here also. That isn't right. And that isn't right either. Finally, back to pins that measure correctly. Now on the bench with this Data East -3 MPU, -3, because it's got this chip right here, and of course, probably says it right up here in the corner. I have installed NVRAM, replaced the power input header, this 470 microfarad cap and this 22 microfarad cap here. As you saw in the pictures I rolled in, RA16 was damaged. Now, RA16 is typically a 10-pin, or sorry, a 9-pin 560 ohm bus resistor SIP. I buy 10-pin bus resistor SIPs, and so I clipped off the last leg, and this works perfectly fine here. There were 3 resistors, 1, 2, 3, that were burnt. These are 1K resistors. They still measured 1K in resistance, but cosmetically they were a bit ugly, so I replaced them anyway. It's a 10-cent part, no big deal. Let's see, and it rules out any uncertainty in the user's mind. So if she's booted up and I have the Simpsons ROM installed, it did have, well, the problem with these parts, or RA16, is that it would manifest in multiple switch closures for only a single actual switch closure. I hate that Data East makes you wait it makes you wait about 3 seconds to get past that bit of the menu. Here's the speaker test. Okay. I do have my Data East Simpsons soundboard attached.
Hey man, we're both underachievers.
So all of our sounds are operating correctly, and I do love the sounds of the Simpsons. This Data East is, in my mind, and I think most people would agree, is not the greatest implementation of the Simpsons theme, as TSPP is an outstanding game, but still fun game. Okay, here we are in switch test. This is where I encountered some problems earlier. So I'm going to go across the diagonal of the 8x8 switch matrix. And it was right here, 64, it would start reporting a bunch of different switches, or anything in row 3 would report bogus or incorrectly. So there's 28, 27, some switches in row 3. So I think we've got that problem licked. No active switches. I'm going to hold down 64, make sure it just reports 64. Which it wasn't doing before. It would report 64 and then several other switches. Lamp matrix. We can do the rows. We can do the columns. There's some ghosting there. That's normal because this is an LED display. Let me get this going. Whoops. Let me reboot and get back to where we were. I pressed the wrong darn button. There we go. Rows, columns, individual switches. flashers, which is the C side of all the solenoid circuits. Now we'll do the solenoids. So the green LED is the A side and the red is the C side. And I think I just said that backwards a second ago when I was talking about the flashers. Simpsons doesn't use 5C, so that's why that one was skipped. I'm going to get out in front of these special solenoids and show that they're driven by the switches correctly. And these two are your flipper ground enable from this cube on the right side of the MPU board. We could do individual coils, but we'll skip that. So I'm going to pronounce this MPU board good to go. I thank you so much for sending it. And the last thing for me to do is to put the original ROM back in, which is, I'm sorry, I said it was Simpsons game, but this is actually Star Wars. I'm just using Simpsons as a test ROM. So I thought that ghosting was just a little excessive, so I went back to the board and noticed that this transistor Q72 had been changed before, and some kind of off-brand transistor was installed, so I replaced it with a quality. I think those are Fairchild's. Tip 102, I've also replaced the SCR with a 2N5064. These SCRs are critical in the timing duration that a lamp row is turned on, and you can see that we have gotten rid of that ghosting completely. Cool. Thank you so much.